So Andy is the General Manager of EMEA for Highspot. He leads the Europe, Middle East and African operations. Prior to Highspot, Andy was most recently VP of Enterprise Sales for EMEA for DocuSign. While at DocuSign, he helped build out the go-to-market approach that delivered a 2.5x growth. Previous sales leadership roles include Oracle, Responsive and Yext, where he helped lead a successful IPO. So let's have a round of applause for our final speaker, please.
Thank you very much. You've clearly been on my LinkedIn bio. It's almost like I wrote that myself. Good evening, everyone. I think I'm about all that stands between you and another drink. So I'm going to try and keep this on time, and I'm going to get Siri to help me. So what I'm going to talk to you about tonight is how to build a scalable revenue engine, how to drive consistency across your sales organization at scale. I missed the briefing for tonight, and it suddenly struck me as I looked at all these gentlemen that I'm the only guy without hair. I'm also kind of the only guy that doesn't have 5 tips. I've only got 1. But let's see how we go. I hope that it will be really, really helpful for you. And here's why it matters. Every single one of you is living in a really tough environment, and you don't need me to tell you that, but it's worth stopping and remembering that, right? Our buying processes have got more complex. We've gone into a pandemic. The behaviors that worked for our sales reps, for our SDRs prior to the pandemic, had to change. We all had to figure out how to sell over Zoom or Teams or whatever other tool you use. And we all had to figure out how to coach, and we've talked about the importance of coaching, and I would echo that. But we had to do it, again, in a virtual environment where we couldn't meet our people. And we certainly couldn't ride alongside them in a customer meeting. So we had to learn new tricks. And then just as we were starting to master it, guess what happens? The pandemic finishes. We've got to figure out how to reinvent ourselves all over again. And that's against the backdrop of the buying process becoming more complex. If you think it's hard for salespeople, try being a buyer. They have less time with more competitors that do by and large, struggle to differentiate than ever before. And they're probably, for larger enterprises at least, dealing with many more stakeholders in the journey. So it's really, really tough. And then the second challenge is, and we touched on this a little bit before, is the options for a salesperson, a good salesperson now, on where to take their career and where to go, are infinite. Quick show of hands again, how many people are hiring? How many people, keep your hands up a sec. How many of you have seen a market like this? Keep your hands up, ever? Yeah, there's not a single hand. I've been a few more trips around the sun than some people in here. Probably been doing this for about 25 years. I've never seen a market like it. It's incredibly hard to find talent, but what I hope to share with you in a minute is a tool to help keep that talent and extend that talent and that excellence across your organization. So it's really, really hard. So what if I told you there was a way to reduce your ramp time by a quarter? And what if I told you there's a way to increase the number of your reps that are hitting target by about 1/5? How many would be interested? Well, that's not many people. Am I in the right audience? These are sales leaders, right? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. So if it's not of interest, exit left, the bar is open. And look, there's not one magic wand, there's not one magic way, but there is one proven way to do that. And that is the sales plan. And I'm going to talk to you and give you a very simple framework about how to build a sales plan. And really, this is about modeling the behaviors, the actions, the engagement of your best reps, building a blueprint or a recipe, and then giving it to the rest of your organization. Because as I'll sum up at the end, there's a bunch of people in the middle that are actually really cracking people. They're really smart, their heart's in the right place. But broadly, they just haven't figured out quite how to do it They haven't quite cracked the nut. And if you can unlock that frozen middle, the uplift compared to if you spend more time with your top performers is very significant. It's about 80% more. It's huge. So unlocking that frozen middle. So what is the sales play? There are 4 key components. What to know, say, show, and do. The first one, this is all about confidence. This is all about when your reps go in front of a buying persona, they understand what that person cares about. They might understand more about their metrics, their KPIs, what keeps them awake at night. It helps break down jargon, and it helps build confidence going into the call. So when they go into that call, they can build the rapport, they can talk knowledgeably, and they can act like somebody that really does know what they're doing. And they can do that whether they're 1 month with the organisation or 10 months with the organisation. And the average rep, top rep, takes about 3 years to get to ultimate performance. So it is a journey. The next one is what to say. And really, this is where calling technology can be very valuable. You can pull out snippets that model best behaviours about the messaging that is delivered. You can use snippets from Zoom and Teams to actually model the behaviours that you want to see. And again, it allows somebody to review just ahead of going into an important call or an important meeting, just to get that refresher training, to understand, those top performers. How did they phrase that thing? I remember that James said it like 6 months ago. If it's there in a place where it's accessible, I don't have to call this guy up when he's in a meeting. I can go and get it when I want. So help people understand what to model and what to say. What to show kind of builds on that, right? And this is where you can use your systems to track what content is resonating with your customers, what are they engaging with, and which pieces of those content, whether it's white papers, case studies, demo, whatever it might be, which of those are associated with driving revenue and driving up win rates. And again, you can start to, over time, evolve that content, right? You talk to any marketers in the room? Like what, 50% of your content works? You just don't know what 50%, right? Unless you're really smart and got technology. But, yeah. And other stats, scary stats, right? 90% of the content you produce is not adopted by reps. So, you can start to address things like this. Yes. Exactly. And then that feeds back to you to help you evolve your content to make it even more effective. Absolutely. So no, say, oh, my clicker didn't go up, that's why you were all looking a bit blank. And then do, right? We've talked about systems and processes, we've talked about what follow-up action might be. Again, this is an area of opportunity. It could be internal face processing, or it could be external facing processing. What white paper, what customers might you want to reference? How do you follow up to that? Know, say, show, do. Really simple framework, and it really makes a massive impact. Independent study across all of our customers, 19% more reps were achieving quota for those organizations that implemented sales plays. 19%. And then about a 24%, I think it is, decrease in the ramp time. These are really huge, these are really, really significant. So it really is, if you're not doing it, sales plays really are important to do. And guess what? Going back to what Tom was saying, they provide you a coaching rubric, so you can actually coach to this best practice and develop that over time. So these are my tips. I have actually. I've forgotten I had this slide though. Thank you for keeping me honest. Look, it's about how do you take this concept of sales plays and how do you bring it to life in your organisation. Whether you have technology or not, you can go and do some of these things today. Don't worry about having the full answer. Don't worry about having to have a sales play for everything. Just start somewhere. Keep it simple. Learn the muscle memory, a bit like going to the gym or running a marathon. You're not going to go out there and do 26.2 miles on day one, but you might go out and do a mile. And then the next week you might do a mile and a half. Build it up over time. And if any of you have any questions, if you want to go deeper, this is me. I'm not here to pitch you Highspot, but I'm happy to go deeper on any of the concepts that I've talked about tonight. How do I do, James?